Alright, so this is how I put up an indoor unit. These are my pipes that are coming through the wall here. And
we did do a pre-piped video
a
few weeks back.
Daikin high walls generally come in a box like, you know, this. Put in there, so it's 170 mils to the centre of the hole on this side, here, across this. Now I'm going to check that it's nice and level. And what I do is put them to the wall. I use these plastic ones. These are the ones I buy. A lot of people like these metal ones. But the beauty of the plastic ones is, if I don't get the holes lined up, I can put a little drill through it on an angle. I can still use it, even if I just miss the hole by a little bit.
It's a bit flexible.
Yeah, it's a bit flexible. So that's why I use the plastic ones. But this is how I put them in. So I've marked them all. On this. Yeah, I use these screws here. They're flat on that side. So when I do it up, they'll pinch up against the wall but won't move the bracket up and down. Because a lot of guys will use these, and quite often I've stuck them in. It's just put the plate out of line, and everything starts with getting the plate dead right. Yep, in the bubble. Oh yeah, baby. Here comes the acid test.
You gotta put acid on it?
No, but if it doesn't work out, I might cry. If nothing hisses out of this pipes, it means that there's a leak in the pipes. And this is all one piece. It means someone has put a nail through my pipes, or a screw, when they put the jib up. I was the person who put the jib up. That means I had done it to myself, and I'm going to have to go and cut out the jib and find the gas leak to make these and then patch it.
And I've just painted these walls, so then I would also cry.
And yes, you would also cry.
Better hiss.
It better hiss. If not, there will be tears. This is the moment. You got dramatic music.
I'm sure there'll be dramatic music currently playing in the background.
I said dramatic, not traumatic.
But either will be traumatic if it doesn't hiss.
Yes,
dramatic.
I'm pretty confident that it's gonna hiss.
Yay!
I might open the window. Right there. Right. Cut this one here off. So now what we do is we wring these out, and I wring these out in different ways. Right. We grab a reamer.
Reamer.
And we make this all nice and non-sharp. Like so.
Just takes a little layer off on the inside, doesn't it?
Takes the sharp edge off, yep. There we go. Right, then we get this. A lot of people don't use these, and I normally don't use these, but this is my last decent 3/8 internal bender. I'll make sure it's nice and clean. I'm going to use my shirt to clean it.
Nice.
And I've got to push it up past the bend, so when I bend this over against the wall, it doesn't kink the pipes. So this is going to go at least to where my thumb is, and we should be golden. Just going to go in. There we go. There, and just go bend. And that. Go. Get out. Yeah, see these here? These marks? Cut the insulation just there and cut this insulation off. Pretty important that you, especially in the North Island or where it's really humid, that you lag everything correctly. Because if there's any tears in the lagging, it will sweat. So, although I don't think it's going to sweat so that it's so, what do you call it?
Dry.
Insulated.
Oh yeah.
There's markings on here, and 90% of the time I can go mark, flare it, and it will be just right. But I have actually had a problem where I've done that and I've been like this much too short. So I don't do it that way anymore. I do it my way. Right, strip this out. Taking great pains to make sure I remember where I put the screws, which should be in this thing here. Normally I clip them from the back. Like so. This is the evaporator. Flip this over. First thing we do is we undo this little screw here and I take the drain straight off. And I make sure the screw does not fall back into the unit. This is the drain. And you see a lot of people go to hell and high water to keep the drains. I don't, it's now gone. Forever. This drain is dead to me. I get this.
It's harsh.
This part, I pull it out of the opposite side because it drains both sides. And this bit.
Hey.
Technical term. Then it goes straight in. This. Then I get my wonder present. These, like so. Put it out. Goes there. Just keep that out of my way. This is what I'm going to use as a spacer box. Go. Down there like that. Alright, I'm just going to quickly get my measurements. I'm going to cut it there. And I'm going to cut it right there. And I'll put the footer on. Like I said, I could have gone off those little pictorial things, but I just don't trust them no more. One. Two pieces of scrap copper. This here is what I use to read my 1/4 inch lines, because if you use this one here on the 1/4 inch, you stick it in and it marks the inside, and then you do the flare, and the flare has like little scratches on it, so I don't use this. I use this, and I find I don't have leaks. So, see it goes in there. I twist it and it takes all the rough inside it. Like that. And then the standing flare reamer. Alright, I'm not going to do a rookie mistake. I'm going to put the flare knot on before I flare it. Trust me, it happens a lot, especially with the young ones. It's my OCD, I must make it click 4 times.
I understand, it's a nice even number.
Yeah. Boom, flare. 1 flare, A bit of polyester refrigerant oil, just get a drop on the end of your finger and put it on the back side of the flare, not the front. Whereas you can contaminate the system. But you want the oil on there so if it catches, it doesn't twist the flare, and sometimes that can create a leak. Just it makes it ripple if there's no oil on the back. You don't believe me?
No, I just have no idea what you're talking about. I'm the
Well,
cameraman.
I'll show you, because when we put the brass on there, we want to do that. We don't want the copper to twist. So if it twists, sometimes it can ripple it, and sometimes you get like a real small gas leak.
Right.
And we don't want any gas leaks.
No, we don't. That part I understand.
I'm going to jam that up in there. Give me a bit of working space, and we'll do this one first. It goes in there like that, and we just do that up. So it's firm. Then we get this, which is my torque spanner. Torque spanners only go one way, always follow the arrow. Goes on like that. And always put another present against it, and we're just listening for the click. Probably worked out now. Done. So that should not leak. Right, then we get the next one. And do that one up to finger tightness. There you go, done it. Right, now we have to go out and do the outdoor unit and pressurise it. And a lot of people don't pressurise it, but I always put at least 350 pounds in it and put some big glue on it to make sure it doesn't bubble up. You got two choices. You can either have it on concrete pads and plastic feet like this one over here, but that's on a concrete pad with plastic feet, which is good for sound. I've got these second-hand jobbies that I've had for a couple of years, and these are really sad because the channel should be facing up that way, so you can stick your lock anchors in and lock them off. But they were cheap, and the reason they were cheap is because they welded them on the wrong way. And being a Cheaper Ways website, I'm just going to use what I've got. I'm not going to buy a new one. So 1, 605 there, the centre. Then we're going to go 140. So 130. And then 70. To put these on, we've got a choice. We've got these M10 bolts, but they'll actually rust after a few years, and depending where you are, if you're trying to get certification, they'll actually ping you if you use these ones, and you have to pull them out and put in stainless steel ones or galv ones. So here's a galv one with a galv washer. This is an M12. That's pretty sturdy. There. Was recommended once was stainless steel. And they are, oh, there's stainless steel. Or, failing that, if all that fails, we have these. And these are cool. I like these the most, because drilling in, no matter how good you are, sooner or later you're going to hit steel under the surface, and all you have to do is get it that deep. So if you hit steel even a little bit less than that, that'll actually put that there, when you smack it in with a hammer, will actually push all the way into there and it will never come out. Now this will hold 500 kilos. You put that on like that, you smack that in with a hammer, bump 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 bump, because it only has to be that deep, and then you do it up that little bit, and it should, if it's a real shallow hole, you won't have to do that up at all. That'll actually push that out, and then you know you don't have to do it up. Now if you do have to do it up, it will push that in and you'll never get it out, and that will hold heaps, and you don't need a really deep hole for it. And what I'll do is I'll put these nice little stainless steel ones in because they're only good for heat pumps. Mark off the depth of your drill bit with the tape so you don't go too deep.
It's like an elephant with a funny trunk.
It does look like an elephant with a funny trunk, you are correct.
That's its eye.
What's that?
That's its eye.
If you say so, love. Right, so that served its purpose now. The whole purpose of that was so the pipes didn't get kinked at the wall before we bent them down. So now, let's take this off like this. You know, someone might think I measured it.
Is that just to help with the noise?
Yeah, just to help the vibration that might occur. Ooh, I think it's just gonna fit. The other thing is, quite often I prefer using concrete pads on these, because sometimes when you have these metal brackets, sometimes, especially with the big units, you can hear them vibrate through the pad, but that would have meant buying a concrete pad, and like I said, I have used it for years, so now I sort of like the look of the brackets better than I like the concrete pads. Bring this one here again. I do like internal benders, it makes everything so much easier. Because if not, you use spring benders and you have to cut it there and poke the spring benders up, and then they're a pain to get out. Right, yeah. That's when that cut is there. Right, so what you see, if you look down here, you're just going to see it just sticking up. This is my mechanical flares, and you can just see it just goes to the top of that hole, and it should do a perfect flare every time. So you're going to do that up, and this moves it around and should do a perfect flare.
Cool.
Just a drop of oil. Much required. So yeah, it goes onto that like that. That's the fitting there. Right. Done. This is the thing here. Goes that way. why I put tape on it. Sometimes it stands up in there. There we go. We dealt with those little bits of plastic going into our system and wrecking it because this first time. Okay. A little bit of oil on the back of that. Just a smidge. Yeah, like so. It's a nice fit. Right, let's put a bit of nitrogen in this, shall we? Right, that's there at 350. Let's grab this. I do not cut into the pipe, I'm just putting it up here so it can hold it off the pipe. So I just want to make sure that we've got no gas leaks on our gauge line, and more importantly, there's no gas leaks on our flares, and that should bubble up in a very unique way. If there's any leaks on those flares. Right, let's go to the indoor unit. Now I'm going to use a rag here. Oops. So I don't want to run down the wall. It's a nicely finished wall.
Yes, you would experience my wrath.
Experience Sarah's wrath. Right, so we're just going to give that literally 5 minutes. No bubbles on the flares. That's good. It's been 5 minutes. I checked at the 5-minute mark. So here we go. Just got on vacuum. And next thing we're going to do is we're going to go and put up the indoor unit, and then it should be, I normally have it so it's under 500 microns, which it already is. This is very important, this next part, especially if you're anywhere humid. I see a lot of guys just cable tie these on, and that just, ooh, it makes me angry. You have to wrap this properly with tape to make sure air and moisture can't get into it when it's on cooling. Else it can cause water leaks down your wall. This part here is going to go across the back like that and up, and take out my special spacer. And a bit more that way. Right. And the cool thing I like about Daikin's is you've got these little screws here that help you pull it all the way up onto the wall, so it goes all the way to the board. But if you've done it properly and it's a nice flat wall, you won't need these. And to be honest, I don't need to put them in, but I'm going to because
You've got them.
I'm here, the screwdriver's here, you know, everything's lining up. And it just pushes up just that little bit more so it looks also nice. We get this drain and we cut it here. And we just stick a cable tie on that. I do not glue these. Nothing annoys me more than people who glue these on, because sometimes they'll get a little bit of muck in here or something and you have to blow it out and you try to pull it out and it's glued on and you need to cut it and they're real hard to join. So I just do this. Done. And this comes up through here, and should we go and put the outdoor unit off since it's going to rain? We're down to under 400 microns now, which is good enough for me and Bobby McGee. So what we do, and the fact is my gauge lines aren't the best, and I did a vac check before I put it on, and I could only really get my gauge set down to about 300 microns if it was. So the fact it's pulling down that tells me it's pretty good. So first thing we're going to do is just pop this off. This one up. so. Get this in here. Like so. Close this. Now we're watching that there. See, I crack this. See, it's just come up in pressure. You then take this off. So it's under positive pressure, so no oxygen gets in the system. We open that all the way up. Then we open this one here, all the way up. Like so. And then that is the evacuation and the releasing of the gas done. Now we just have to wire it. So we're going to go to about here. This is act as a protection for your electrical cables. Now the reason I put these curls on it is because I really hate it when they strip the connection too soon. I like to be able to put my clip-on amp meter on them sometimes if they're faulting out. And there's nothing worse than when there's only just enough cable to get there, or you'll have one burn up and you'll have to replace it, and you have to replace it down here because it's not further up. So I just leave a little bit of extra room on so I can get my clamp onto any of those. It's just, yeah. That's what I do.
There's nothing worse.
Well, it's just annoying.
I mean, there's natural disasters, you know.
Yeah, there's my mother.
They're worse. That
She's
could be
worse, yeah. They'll find out if she listens to these videos or not. Stop mice. This is a good access point for mice. In here. So what we do is we get some steel wool, same stuff that we use in cleaning. And mice can't chew through this.
Ah, right.
Mice will chew through anything and everything.
Apart from steel.
Apart from steel. So this is a second hand one from a removal I did. Clean the steel screws. They just look nicer, they don't rust over time. First. So that's the electrical safety cover goes on. Use some air freshener type things. Filters not right.
From that angle then.
Right, there we go. Here. Right, this is the cable which I had put aside for the switch. Usually it's switched off the board. So you can put this in. Total safety. See it go in here, make it look nice and finished. Like so. I've actually had call outs for this because their remote and their unit has stopped working. And I looked at it, and all you have to do is to change the batteries, squeeze this, pull down, and you can change your batteries. I've actually driven an hour and a half to a breakdown.
Oh, you're kidding.
More than once, just for that, because they couldn't figure out how to get the batteries out of the remote. It beeps. How's that? And so this is it. This is how you fit up a unit.
Cool.
Awesome.